Hey guys, welcome back to Pistonhead Productions. My name's Jacob, and on this channel, we don't normally cover video games, but I figured this week, why not give it a shot? There's been a lot of drifting content that's come out lately. Obviously, the drifting season is pretty much over, especially here in Canada, so finding content's a little bit difficult. I got a bunch of builds on the go. I got a bunch more that I have to announce. I know I just released that update video, but since then, there's been a lot of things that have happened. So, yeah, anyways. What I want to talk about is not like a Forza game or anything else. What I want to talk about is a new game that just came out called Torque Drift. I got put onto this by George K, who is actually in the game, as well as he's a Formula Drift Pro 2 driver, a guy that I always say hi to in the pitch, just a really cool dude. But this is on Android that I'm running this. If you guys want to know, it's a Galaxy S8 is the phone. There it is. And that is what we're going to be running this on today. But I want to give you guys kind of a quick walkthrough, my experiences with it, what the game is like, just kind of a breakdown and see if this is a game that you guys would want to play. There's a lot of drifting games out there, although this one is very different than anything else you're going to find on a mobile device. I can guarantee you that. They have partnered up with a lot of different FD friendly companies. They've sponsored up with FD drivers. So it's very different than what you're normally going to find on most mobile apps. So let me just get this going and then we'll get right into it. As you can see, starts off obviously with the game logo. Awesome opening here, Dean Carney and Mad Mike Wadette. And these are actually like graphics from the game. So it's not like they're showing you something that you're not going to actually see. Sessions played. I thought this was kind of cool. So the idea of this is to take you all the way from a very basic level, can barely drift, getting all the way up to kind of a pro level. So that is the entire idea of this game. It is very heavy on the phone. I highly recommend that if you have below 50% battery life, that you plug it in, especially if you're going to run like full graphics and everything else. So you can see the opening screen here. So let's satisfy your need right away. Let's just get into some drifting, and then we're going to go through and break some other stuff down that you can find into it. So we'll just do a practice session here. These tracks are all, I believe they are all modeled. Most of them are modeled off of tracks in real life, which is really cool. So we're going to go to this one, which is called Cali Bank. Take a quick stab what you think Cali Bank is, because it's Irwindale. It's exactly Irwindale. It's obviously, it can't be called Irwindale because you have to pay licensing rights, but that's what it is. So this is the car that I've got here. Nice little S chassis. I've actually swapped the rotary into this one already. We'll get into that stuff in a little bit. So you can already see right off the bat, if you look in the background, you can see field suspension, Nexen tire, Link ECU. This car is running Nexen tires. And yeah, so let's just start right into the actual game itself. So I have all of the graphics cranked in this. I've got everything pretty much balls out so you can get the full experience. But if we just drive around here, you can see that this is definitely Irwindale. Like 100%. Actually, if we, there we go, right into the, if we go over here, this is how you know for sure. If you look in the background there and you see all that aggregate processing equipment, that means that it's definitely Irwindale. If you didn't know, the Irwindale track is basically sandwiched between two aggregate pits. But okay, so basic controls here. Obviously, you've got your gas pedal, you've got your brake pedal, you've got your e-brake, and you've got your left and right turns. You can also do this game with tilt steering. I'll show you here quick in the controls. So you can do buttons, you can do slide steering. You can add a steering wheel, I'm guessing, to this to plug in. You can do tilt. So they obviously have made this so that way it is meant to be, if you want to hook this up to like a console, if you want to run this on like a big tablet. I don't know if this is available for a laptop. If it is, I'm going to download it and maybe do some kind of sim stuff with it at some point. But either way, you can have clutch, you can have manual shifting. I suck at video games, so I'm not doing any of those. But let's just take this for a quick drive. So this car makes around 500 horsepower, and you can see right away it is hella twitchy. But check that out. So it gives you your clipping points. It shows you your proximity to things. Your e-brake works. There is realistic fire in here. And I'm not playing the sound right now because, in all honesty, the sound's not great. You know what? I'll throw it. Do I even have it set up here too? There we go. I don't like the sound, but I'll give you a little bit here with just sound so you can hear what it's like. So there you go. There's like a quick kind of sound thing for you. The engine noises aren't amazing. They're good, but they're not amazing. They obviously put a lot more time and money into their graphics and their interface than they did into the actual sound itself. But yeah, so the controls on this are very difficult. This is not easy. I suck at video games in general. I'm going to say that probably 100 times. That being said, I've played other drifting games for apps. This is by far the hardest one I've played. Now, when you first start off, you start off with a bone stock chassis and is way more difficult. I've tuned this vehicle very, very heavily, and it has gotten a little bit better. But as you can see here, this is just some quick gameplay. But let's jump out of this quick and get into let's get back into the menus, and you can see what we're actually dealing with. Because, you know, that part's kind of fun. I want you guys to see what it's like. But let's get into the real reason why I like this. And very little of it actually has to do with the gameplay. So we'll go into Garage. This is the coolest part for me. If you're really into drifting, if you love the technical aspects of drifting when it comes to setting up your car, buying the right parts, finding the right combinations, tire sizes, tire pressure, alignments, spring rates, boost, RPM control, all of that can be tuned in here. I'm not even kidding. All of that I've just mentioned can be changed to minute details, and it's fucking awesome. So here's what we'll do. So go to engine. Actually, let's go to the parts store, because that's where everyone wants to start things off. And there's new parts in here. So here are the series of things you can get. So diff, ECU, suspension, intercooler, even bigger intercooler. You know, we've got, once again, ECU angle kits. It looks very familiar to a certain blue version that obviously didn't pay for licensing rights. But what you can see, though, is there's a lot of brand names here. ARK, Clutch Masters, I don't know, Kanigua, anyways. Mishimoto, super cool to see them in there. Big fan of Mishimoto stuff. If you watch the channel, you know that already. Feel Suspension, Link ECU. There's just generally a lot of cool brands that you are going to find in drifting anyways. Shockworks. So yeah, you can see here, like, you can get into some pretty, this is kind of basic stuff, but as you can tell, there is definitely a lot of parts that you can go through. That is just under performance, by the way. So let's get into tires. The two main tire companies that seem to be in with this are Nexen Tire and Accelera. I haven't gone through to see if I can find any other ones, but that's what it looks like, is Nexen and Accelera. These are real brands that are in there, so that part is kind of neat. I'm not done with that. Engines. So there you go. This is what I've got in there now. 13B. We've got stroked out SR20, a tuned SR20. Not sure what the difference is going to be. RB26, and then stroked out RB26. And then we've got a rebuilt 2JZ. Kind of interesting, the valve cover on that. I don't know why they went with that. But either way, those are your engines. Everything about these changes the way the car runs and feels and drives. And that's kind of my favorite part, is that you're not just buying things and throwing them on and there's just no real difference. Everything that you change in this, you can feel in the real game. So, I keep going back here. Oh, okay. You know what? You come this far. Let's talk about the cars. Check this out. So there is George K's car. So for $11 or $12, I can buy George's car. Then what do we have here? Mr. Radical Daniel himself, Dan Burkett, in his amazing looking Supra. Then we've got Alec Honadale. This will be changing soon because everybody knows he's switching to a BMW chassis. Then Jonathan Castro. Amazing work in here. Like, great detail. I love the work they put into it. Look at that, though. Wisefab's on there, but Wisefab's not a part sponsor, so that's kind of interesting. Maybe it's unlocked later on. Mad Mike Woodette. And for $32.99, Dean Carney. Dean, dude. Discount code, maybe? Come on, dude. Hit me up. Discount code. I haven't checked here. Do they have... Team cars are pre-built, parts can be tuned, but no upgrades or changes. So cool. It's more like a demo car, it looks like. What I do like is that they've got links to all their social media there. They've got all the horsepower. They've got a bunch of different stuff. So super, super cool that they've got those pro guys in there. I really only know one of these guys, and that's George K. So shouts out to him. Good work, dude. It's cool to see people that you know in video games in general. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm sorry, I keep jumping back and forth here between the different screens. You may not even notice because if I'm a good editor, I'll have cut that out. But let's see what other cars. So street cars. And I'm probably going to screw up a couple names, but S15, E30. Yep, E30. And what do we have here as our last one? M3, it looks like. Special. I don't know whose car this is. The Slap Train. I don't know if this is somebody's actual car, but it looks pretty badass. So, G. And then obviously we went through the pro stuff. So, yeah, $12. I might do it. I don't know if George K gets like a kickback on it. If he does, maybe I'll just buy it and see. Sorry, let's get back into the tuning side of things. So once you've bought parts, here's kind of the stuff that you can do with each part. So we'll go to engine. Let's go to the engine itself. I can swap it out from my stock SR20 to my 13B. That part doesn't allow me to tune anything. But we can go engine. Let's go to something I know we can change, which is the turbo. Within that, you can hit tune part and then change the actual boost. So if you need to detune it a little bit, then you can do that. Believe it or not, that's something you may actually get into. Sticking with engine, intercooler. I can decide which intercooler that I want. Does it show the difference? Yeah, so I'm actually losing horsepower. I'm adding mass if I go to this smaller Z-line one as opposed to the G-line one. Actually, I have a Z-line one on one of our builds. If we get into rear wheels, suspension. So I've got field suspension on there right now. Spring length, stiffness. So this is going to change the ride height. And it actually shows you changing the ride height. What else can we change on the rear wheels? Obviously, the wheels themselves, the tires, differential. So you can do your how much it's locking, and what your final drive is. That's key. And one more cool thing in here. Let's get into the angle kit itself. Tune the part. Can change your camber and your toe in. These are going to change kind of what kind of bite you get. It would be cool if it showed you what your tire wear was, but it doesn't do that. That would be nice though, so that way you can see how much traction you're actually getting. That being said though, when I'm playing with the toe in, it makes a big difference. Right now, I don't have a super grippy setup. If I did, I might add a little bit of positive camber and add some toe in. That way, when I'm under high horsepower, maybe when I get to like the 800 or 900 horsepower range, I'll have to start screwing with that. But yeah, there's way more stuff in here. I could probably spend like an hour getting into all that stuff. Body kits, I haven't got one yet. Paint shop. I know a lot of people are going to want to look at this. So, customizing your car is fairly easy. It can get a little convoluted. There's a lot of these controls. It doesn't really explain what they all do. But essentially, you can, change the size of things, change their opacity, clone them, flip them, all that fun stuff. So, you can paint the car. So, let's see if we can just paint something quick so I can show you. I don't know what I did. I don't think I did anything. Either way, you can, once you get this part figured out, I haven't spent a lot of time doing this because in all honesty, it's the monkey up top here that I'm playing with. So that monkey, I can change his paint and his opacity, and apparently I can buy chrome coat at some point in time. You can just put on shapes, you can put on colors, stuff like that. So you can customize this car. Unsave changes, I don't want them. Another cool thing about this game is that whenever you're selecting things, it's not just a tap. I know that's kind of a mixed bag, but I like it because that way you're not unintentionally tapping things. If you're buying something, if you're changing something important, they make you hold it for like 1 second and that's it. Crates is where you can buy like paid for stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. You can change your angle kit in the front. Look at this, steering lock, camber, toe in, caster, all that stuff you can play with. I am learning about this now. I've got a lot of people that I've been talking to about it for my own personal stuff. But once I get that figured out, I can obviously get things changed. But yeah, check that out. Isn't that cool? Even shows you the angle. Camber. Look at all of that camber. -5 degrees, yo. So I had it for a couple of degrees, but either way, reset. You can customize your car as much or as little as you want. I believe when you buy the part and put it on, the settings are pretty generic. But obviously as you go and as you get more competitive, you're going to get into that stuff. So the other cool part about this is sponsors. I love sponsorship stuff. So let's talk about that. You first start off with the Grease Monkey Games, which is obviously the company that made the game. Then you can go different routes depending on what you're doing. So if we were going to get down sponsorship, I'd have to get 15 clipping zones. Clipping zones times 15. So you hit 15 in a row. If you do that 3 times, you get their sponsorship. What I did get to do, though, is I got GAD tires. And I can't remember what I did to get that. Another one that I'm working on is Modify Performance. So that's actually George K's company, I believe. So if I drift in the yard without any penalties 10 times, then I get theirs. And what that gets you is every X amount of hours you get bullions. Bullions is one of their currencies. The bullion allows you to get things early. When you buy parts, what I think is actually kind of cool is it takes a bit of time, like they're actually shipping in. You can use bullions to then speed up the process or buy parts that you couldn't normally afford. And then you also have their drift currency, which if you look in the top right, you can see I've got like 5,000 currently. So yeah, sponsorships are cool. It allows you to get more bullions and more coins. You just got to check back. It's a way to get you to keep playing the game. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. So if we get into the actual drifting, right now here are the tracks that they've got. So Cali Banks, this one is Hakone, which is kind of like a Japanese mountain road. Cheshin, I can't remember that one. The Slab is like a generic one. It's a good place to tune and test things. Ocean Drive is another fun one. And the Yard. Let's get into the Yard because I apologize. I know there's a lot of big drifting fans watching this, and I'm probably going to fuck this up. But I believe that this is an actual track in Ibizu with that famous jump. I think it's in Ibizu. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong too. I don't know a lot about Japanese drifting culture. I'm working on it. Calm down if I screwed that up. Maybe it's something from Initial D. Haven't watched that either. Surprise. Either way, what I can do before I start this game, we get into tires, is I can actually select my tires ahead of time. Why is it not letting me? There you go. So my Nexen CPs are my Nexen N5000s or my regular Nexen CP661s. These are the best ones I have, the CP672s. So that's what I'm going to run. You do wear through tires, so I have 14 of them left. It does take a little bit. It's not like super exact as to how long it's going to take, but either way, that is what I'm doing. So let's just get into the game and you guys can check out this track. So let's get into her and let's see how badly I do. So the car is a little squirrely taken off the line and bam, let's jump that up. Oh. Another cool thing that they've got in here is if you double press the throttle, that is a clutch kick. Now it's super erratic when you do it. So let me see if I can do one here. Let's get into a corner. So we'll just drive into the... Whoa, Jesus. I don't know if that is actually them saying, hey, you've been on the grass, so your tires are super slick. If they thought that far ahead, I'd be pretty pumped. So there we go. We're into a drift now. If I clutch kick and do nothing else, you can see it really slingshots you around. It's not exactly like a clutch kick, and it is a little bit delayed. But either way, I don't use a ton of them. In all honesty, I'm kind of an e-brake. Flick it in there. Hold the drift. Look at that, too. Bounce off of walls. Bam. So another cool part of this gameplay is that it will track your proximity and you get multipliers based on it. And it actually shows kind of a little graph. And I don't know if I can show it. There it is. Do you see it there in the front? The closer you get, the obviously the more points that you're going to get. So you can see here. Let's just try and get some proximity to something. There we go. It popped up there. So it's kind of cool. Once again, not great at this game. The one thing it does do, I don't know if my recording shows when I press buttons, is it kind of holds the angle and just bites in. So the controls are kind of tricky, and I might be able to change some of these with some alignment changes, but I will see as I progress, and maybe I'll do an update on this game and do the 40, 60 hours in, something like that, and show you what it's like. I wasn't looking there, I was looking at the camera. But that's essentially what this gameplay is like. So the things that I really, really like about this game are the graphics are really good considering that this is a mobile game. I like that they've partnered with companies. It's a great advertising and marketing strategy for some of those companies. It's cool to see drivers that you know, maybe that you love. I love the amount of tuning that you can do in this game. It's just incredible. And once again, the changes that you make will actually reflect in the way that the car handles. So how it tracks, if it decides to crab walk. So I didn't see Ackerman in there, but I think that would get affected by some of the other ones. But I do like that. I love that they use real life tracks. Hey, that one wasn't too bad. I like that they show you where you need to be without it being like, for sure this is where you have to go. They give you the kind of the runoffs. But yeah, so this is all practice mode. So that's kind of the stuff that I do like. Let's get out of this and we're going to get into competition, and I'm going to show you the things that I kind of don't like. So we're going to drift. Let's go into events. So there's a couple of different events going on. There's two right now. There is Hakone, which is the Japanese mountains, and there is Cali Banks. Let's do the Cali Banks one. We'll do that one quick. So this one's free to enter right now. It doesn't cost me anything. Some of them do have entry fees. It's not a lot. It's like $500 or 500 of their things. It gives you one last chance to change your tires. I wish it would allow you to change some other stuff, some alignment stuff before you get in, but it is what it is. So now I'm getting paired up with somebody. It is searching. It's usually fairly quick. That's probably one of the longest ones I've run. That guy's got 502. He's running some shite Nexans, like shittier than the ones I've got. Doesn't have any sponsors. So yeah, that's what we're getting into now, is the actual competition. So what happens is I start leading, and we'll talk about that. So you can see this car does like to get a little sideways off the launch. Let's take a kind of I was going to take a shallower line, but that didn't happen. Oh man, this is actually fairly decent. Woo! Wow, 30. That's probably the best I've ever done on this one. So there we go. There's my lead run, and now it's going to show me his lead run. He ran one at the same time. He only got 3,500. Now we do a chase run. What happens in the chase run is he chases the run I just laid down, and I chase the run he just laid down. It's a really cool way to keep the flow going. I do like that they did this. So I'm going to chase him. I know he didn't do that well, so I'm probably going to hold back just a touch. Yeah, he's just kind of flinging it around. So once he starts drifting, do you see that little trail? As long as I'm within that trail, I will start to get some points while he's drifting. He's not doing a whole hell of a lot, so it's kind of tough to show you. But either way, if I'm within that circle while he's drifting and I'm drifting, I get tandem points that gets added on, and that shows the total score. So let's see how he did compared to me. If it says waiting, that means he's probably still finishing his up. I've got wicked internet at home, so I know that's not the problem. But yeah, okay, so there we go. Lots of cool stats in here. Drift angle, clipping zones, lots of cool stuff in here. All ways to add up points. He obviously didn't finish. It shows me all of his stuff. So there's all the points that I got. Penalties, 0. Really cool breakdown. If you want, you can nerd out over that one in a bit. So I got 300 for winning. I got a score of 484. I don't know what that's about. Oh, anyways, that's the extra points that I got. Shows you my level. So I'm a rookie 1. Before rookie is grassroots, and I've just gone up a little bit in rank. Now, what I can do normally is I can hit where it says opponent left. I can hit rerun that guy. I can also go to next battle, or I can do return. So we're going to go, we're going to return back and enter into another race to show you guys what a longer track looks like. So now we're doing the Hakone, the Skyline course. Someone's super mad about my pronunciations right now. I know that. Cool. The other part of this that I can show you is join. So you can do, you can create your own little party. I haven't done this yet because I don't have a lot of friends that are running this yet, although hopefully this video convinces them. So you can get a code, or I can start a private one. Oh, but I didn't hit that. I just hit, let's hit cancel quick so I can show you private. Oh, never mind. Private, there. There's got an invite link that I can send to the people, and then I can play against my friends. But let's go to search. And we're going to find ourselves an opponent. Sorry about the getting over a cold. Load my opponent. RC Drift. I think I've actually drifted against this guy before. I kind of recognize the car. So let's go. So this is going to be much longer, and you're going to see just how terrible I am at this. So once again, car super squirrely off the launch, and let's flicker in. Off throttle. Whoa, whoa, no. No, okay. As soon as you stop drifting, it penalizes the crap out of you. It really wants you kicking it sideways, and just fishtailing around does not count. It is better to be way, way offline and still at some kind of angle than it is to, yeah, that was absolute dog shit. you can see all the penalizing I was getting there. So it's better to be way off course and at some kind of angle than it is to, how that guy do? Marginally better than me. Cool. This does pair you up with people of your skill level, which is kind of nice. That way you're not getting blown out of the water by guys that are really good at it. Seems to bracket around horsepower and ability too. So he did about as well as I did. So let's see how he does. I'm a little bit faster. Now what is cool is I'm hitting him right now. So he's still drifting, and whatever the AI is really good. Now if I come like absolutely barreling through him, let's see if I can do that. It will let me pass through him. So you can't just like use him like a stopping point. So if I'm generally drifting near him, it'll let me kind of bounce off him, but I can't just like run through the dude. I didn't get to show you. Either way, if I'm like going full force at the guy, I can't just like hit him and use it to slow down. It'll just like shoot me through him, which is kind of neat. So he followed my run really well. I've lost. Continue on. And there we go. So I made a little bit of money, but not a lot. It's my dog snoring in the background. He's asleep. So there we go. So some of the stuff that I didn't really get to talk about it much there, but some of the stuff that I don't like about it is the sounds kind of suck. I really wish that I could play this with headphones on and really enjoy the sound of the engines, but I can't. So it is what it is. The other part I don't like is there are some kind of gimmicky things. They've obviously spent a lot of time on the maps and on the cars. They didn't spend a lot of time on like making fire pop out or anything like that. Some cool fire would have been nice. I'm getting kind of nitpicky. The game is big. I can't remember how many megabytes, but it is a fair bit. It does look like one of those games where if you dump 60, 70 bucks into it, you can do really, really well. That being said, though, you can't really beat the skill of it. So if your skill isn't great, then you're not going to be great at it. The other things that I don't really like about it, it destroys your battery life, that's for sure. So if you're on a train or you're in a car or something like that and you're playing it, you're going to go through it quick. You need to be plugged in or have some type of power source or some kind because you're going to blow through it. What was I at before that? What I do like, sorry, this is just a quick note. It does run in the background, so if you kind of cancel out of it, it will sit there. So just in the time that I was playing that, I went through almost 10% of my battery. Just to let you know, I've been playing like 25 minutes. So I'm very excited to see where this game goes. I'm probably going to buy one of the cool cars. Maybe I'll buy George's. Why not, right? I know the guy would be kind of neat. Be like, hey, hopefully you get $1 out of this. I don't know. But yeah, overall, really cool game. What's the other one? The FX Streets Legends or something like that. I don't know. It's not available for Android, so I'm not playing it yet. But I really like this game. I don't know if I can give it a rating system. I don't have a rating system. I don't do any fucking reviews. So I rate it 7.5 Jacobs out of a bunch. That's what I give it. If whatever that means to you. But anyways, I think you guys should download it. It is free to download. Obviously, if you want to like progress in it, you can throw a bunch of money at it. If you're that bored in life or you're throwing money at one of these video games, then you probably have bigger problems. But to get through with the urge of, how do I explain this? To quell the urge of drifting throughout the winter, it's a great way to do it. Super cool cars. I can't wait to see more expansions. I'd love to see more drivers, more pro cars in it. I think this game is going to do really, really well. We're starting to see a lot of these guys like Mad Mike and Rad Dan and stuff promote it. So that's good. Obviously, they enjoy it. Go download it. Just give it a shot. Check out. Maybe I'll send out some messages when I'm playing the game. Maybe I will set up a private thing every once in a while. If you guys do want to play, let me know and I will send out a code and maybe we'll do like a live stream of me playing it and you guys can jump in and I'll battle you guys. Right now, it is set up as Jacko13, which is kind of like my handle for a lot of video game stuff. When I used to play a lot more, I'll set it up to Pistonhead Productions so you guys know it's me. Maybe I'll try and get a Pistonhead logo on there at some point in time. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this review. Hopefully you guys enjoy this game. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to check out all of our builds and stuff like that. If you're new to this channel, if you're just watching for the game review and you do like drifting, check out this channel. We've got a lot of drifting stuff behind the scenes at FD. We follow Riley Sexsmith around. We build some super low budget drift cars that are kind of sketchy. We build tow rigs to get you to there. This channel is very quickly becoming a drift channel. although it's just automotive in general. Also, make sure to check out the Piston Head podcast. I'm going to try and get George K on to talk about this game and his input on it, especially now that I've played it. But thanks again, guys, for watching, and we will catch you next time.